My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
Reported dead a few days ago, less than a week. My brother, my sister, how many of us remember the media tour and runs that he had right here in Ghana? An accomplished fiber optics engineer, an accomplished scientist, a patent owner, my brother, my sister, Dr. Thomas Frimpong, died a pauper. My brother, my sister, it hurts my soul to think about the circumstances under which Dr. Thomas Frimpong died. He was invited all the way into Ghana by President Kufuor. They had traveled all the way to America. They had heard about the inroads he was able to chalk and to build. They had seen how much energy he had put into his work. Today, when you send photos on WhatsApp and social media in general, you must be giving thanks to Dr. Thomas, Mensah, and two others. In fact, he is recognized in the science world. But he died a pauper right here in Ghana. I had a number of interviews with Dr. Thomas Mensah, and it hurts my heart that a great son of the land could be invited into the country and be made to die so terribly. We all remember how he went round talking from radio station to radio station, from one TV station to the other. We even remember how he said he was spearheading some sky train in Ghana. Many people rubbished that, and many others thought that he was only building castles in the air. Today, my brother, my sister, the naysayers might just be jubilating and saying that, oh, we said it. I had a close bond and a close relationship with Dr. Thomas Mensah. We spoke almost every day. It hurts my soul to say this, and I am saying it to the glory of the Most High. My brother, under what circumstances did Dr. Thomas Mensah leave America? Producer, put up a photograph of Dr. Thomas Mensah, please. Dr. Thomas Mensah died at the age of 74. We were told. He went to school, my brother, my sister, in the central region. He also went to school in France. He spoke French so fluently. He was a scientist par excellence. My brother, my sister, Dr. Thomas Mensah came into this country to help build the nation and to give the average Ghanaian the opportunity to also appreciate science. But he died a pauper. Do you know? This is Dr. Thomas Mensah. Just before Dr. Thomas Mensah died, my brother, my sister, he didn't seem to be able to grab his memory properly. Was it due to old age? Did they do something to him in America before he landed in Ghana? What really was the theory? A renowned scientist who only was around 74 and could not remember a lot of things, to the point that he was even buying food on credit. Thomas Mensah, I can say, whatever might have killed him, hunger would have been part of it. I'm saying that on authority, my brethren. Food to eat was a problem. He was buying food on credit. He piled up debts on just food My brother, if I talk about food, I'm not talking about lasagna and pizza and the rest of them. I'm talking about gobe. I'm talking about food that almost every Ghanaian could dole out money and pay. Dr. Thomas Mensah, a renowned scientist, close to me, my brother, my sister, struggled to even buy food. Who invited him into the country? Did they invite him into the country and then after they realized that, oh, probably his mind had been messed up with in America, or whatever happened to him, and therefore they did not have any use for him anymore, and they let him out like a stray dog? Please accept and forgive my language. A great renowned scientist like this was going around crediting food. I won't go into detail, but I will go into detail when it's most necessary. I am hurt. Is that the end of knowledge? Is it a crime to be knowledgeable as an African and a Ghanaian? Dr. Thomas Mensah won a number of awards. He had a number of patents. Some people say patent. We had interviews. The last one we had, he brought a robot into the studio. A talking robot. My brother, my sister, a renowned fiber optics scientist, fiber optics. Today, when you use social media, send photos and videos around, it's all because of his invention with two other people, I'm told. Thomas Mensah was invited into the country only for him to be abandoned by whoever invited him into the country. The politicians who invited him here made a mockery of him with this Skytrain thing. At the end of the day, he was building a science hub right here at the Kofi Annan Center there and even beyond. They made a mockery of him. Somebody who was invited around the world, Kenya and some other places, to help with building science hubs and the rest. He ended up going around crediting food, my brother. What happened to Dr. Thomas Mensah? What happened to his money? All the patents. Who brought him into the country? Did they have accommodation for him? Did they have feeding for him? He left America and came into this country only to be treated the way he was treated. He died a pauper. I leave it here. Well, the next thing I want to look at, and I want to be very sharp and very brief with this. Asantehene leads massive clean-up exercise in Kumasi. Hey, I read. The Asantehene Otumfuo said to do the second on Saturday led the people of Kumasi to undertake a massive clean-up exercise in the metropolis. Similar exercises were conducted in all the traditional areas of the Ashanti region. The exercise was to help clean up all communities to usher in the 25th anniversary celebration of the ascension of Otumfuo Osetutu as the 6th occupant of the Golden Stool. 16th, I beg your pardon, 16th occupant of the Golden Stool. Now, Mr. Simon Mensah, Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Sampine, Mayor of Kumasi, and members of Parliament, traditional rulers, municipal chief executives, and other government officials joined the Asantehene to inspect the exercise. Now, my brother, my sister, this Asantehene never ceases to amaze me. The 16th occupant of the Golden Stool, right from the days of Entry, my brother, my sister, the 16th occupant of the Golden Stool, he went out and dirtied himself in order to clean up the place. Oh my God. Asantehene, Oti Kokoso, the occupant of the golden stool, the once richest empire of the whole region, the richest kingdom, the Ashanti Empire. Gold is nothing to that kingdom. My brother, my sister, he went out and led a clean-up campaign. My brother, in our country, when somebody gets the slightest promotion, what they do away with is cleanliness. They don't clean anymore. Cleaning is left to the poor. Cleaning is left and relegated to a menial position. People who are poor are those who clean. Yet the Bible you read tells you that cleanliness is next to godliness. The Quran tells you the same thing. And when you relegate cleaning to the poor, then you are relegating God to the poor. My brother, my sister, Asantehene descended into the gutters, put away his royal regalia, the kente, he put it away. With Adwa, he danced gallantly into the gutters, helped to clean up the place, instructed the whole of the Ashanti region to clean up. I live in a country where we relegate cleaning to Samasama and Zoom Lion. In my days, Samasama will go around and make sure that your house was clean, your own house. I remember in those days, even as a little child, some people were still trying to bribe the Samasama. Samasama would open your drum full of water to inspect it and be sure that there were no worms in the water. Your own health, somebody would have to come and force you to be healthy. These days I don't see Samasama. Are they still around? Those health inspectors who came to make sure that yes, we lived according to the dictates of good health. I remember there was a time my uncle took me to court. To be honest with you, I went to court because my uncle was an interpreter in court. We went to see him and he was on duty, so we decided to sit in the court and wait for him to come out. There was a Samasama who had summoned a certain woman. It was embarrassing. We were just little children. I was about 6 or 7. You know what the Samasama said? We went into her house and then we saw a kraba chamber pot in one corner. We inspected the whole house. In fact, about 200 yards to the house, it looked like they had heard that we were in the area, so they quickly started to clean the area. It means if we hadn't come, they would not clean. That was what the Samasama said in court. But when we got into the house, a chamber pot, aka kraba, caught my attention. And I went and opened the kraba. My Lord, you wouldn't want to know the content of the kraba. And to those of us who have not had their breakfast or lunch yet, you wouldn't want to know the content of that kraba. I remember clearly as a 7-year-old or 6-year-old. When I opened it, I realized that it had fecal matter, aka feces, 4 different types. And when I inspected it well, they had about 6 worms inside, aka gwagogome. And I realized that the woman had 4 children, all of them born 1-year interval. The eldest was about 5, so the next was 4, and so on and so forth. And they were all using the same chamber pot. So I could tell, my Lord, that the fecal matter I saw in the kraba was delivered by these 4 children and had been kept for several days to the point that it started to brew worms. Hallelujah. In court, as a 6-year-old, I remember this kraba and I remember those worms, I see 4 worms, they were swimming and dancing agbaja. What kind of a human being are you? You will not clean your area until you are told. And when you are sick, you run to the hospital and expect a doctor to treat you. Some of you should be injected with the horse's needle, the long one. We should use that to inject you. You don't respect your health. These are the people. They will leave the kuraba there with 4 worms inside and go to church wearing all white. Asida yonyame nidia. Asida oyanyame nidia. Nyakle nyama ho. I don't know how. What's wrong with you? Asantini has decided to go into the gutter and clean the gutter himself. Where are the samasamas? Do you still have the samasamas in your area? Or they are no more there? As a 6-year-old at the Tamale court, I heard a samasama dressed all white narrate how he saw a chamber pot with 4 different types of fecal matter, one sitting on the other, balanced to one side, and had 4 worms dancing agbaja and damba inside it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Asantini. God bless you for being a leader, leading by example. I expect that some of our chiefs and kings who are now demigods will never clean, not even their own teeth, they won't clean. They leave everything to servants. You owe yourself that duty to be clean. Now, the very last thing I want to look at, probably the last one, is this one here that says, only heaven understands. Owusu Bempah, after offering his prophetic seat to Bawumia. And I read, Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah, the leader of Glorious Word Power Ministries International, offered prayers and commendations for Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia during a visit to his church on Easter Sunday, March 31, 2024. Now, the viral video capturing the moment reveals Bawumia seated on a pastoral chair as Owusu Bempah whispered prayers over him. Following the prayers, Owusu Bempah addressed Bawumia, conveying a cryptic message to him. Nobody understands what I have done. Only the heavens do. God bless you. You are a good man and you have a good heart. I leave it here. Reverend Owusu Bempah was my mate at TIA Made Secondary School. We sat in the same class. We used to call him Libya. He used to run for the school. In fact, he used to pray every second. That I can say. As a Form 1 boy, I saw him praying back, in almost every corner. He was even the president of the SU when I was in school with him. So when it comes to his spirituality, I do not have a problem and I do not challenge him. Last month, he invited me to his church, and when I went, he said, hey, and he gave me a fat envelope. Anywhere Reverend Owusu Bempah sees me, he wants to give me money. And I always accept it as a schoolmate. Opema Sempa. Say, hey, black, saying, hey, phobia. Phobia. But the truth is the truth. Nobody is bigger than the truth. Hey, Reverend, prophets, Libya. I remember Reverend Owusu Bempah prophesied a few years back that Bawumia should never ever be president. If he ever becomes president, he is going to suppress the Christian community. He will suppress the Christian community, trying to uplift his own religion. And for that matter, every Christian should pray against him, never ever to be president. Today, my very good friend and schoolmate, Libya, aka Reverend Owusu Bempah, has offered him his own prophetic seat. A seat I have never sat on, even though we've been classmates for so long, and he's invited me to the church a number of times. Maybe my time is yet to come. Sat him on it, and this is not the first time. Prayed for him and called him a good man. Since when has Bawumia become a good man? Or the realms have changed one more time. The man who wanted to suppress Christendom, all of a sudden, the realms have changed, and he's now going to help Christendom. Or is it a thing of the stomach? I have known Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah to be a man who speaks it the way it's supposed to be said. But wait here, a few moments ago, don't ever vote for this man Bawumia. If he ever becomes president, he will suppress Christendom. Eh? Yes, Christosum ebaya ding obe no. We all heard it. All of a sudden, he has a prophetic seat in the church, and he's being pronounced as a good man. Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah again said that people would not understand. I don't understand. Maybe he will come up and tell us that the realms have changed, and Bawumia is now a good man who will help Christianity grow in Ghana, and we will all say hallelujah. It looks like to win elections in Ghana right now, you must pass through the church of Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah, or else forget it. I'll leave it here. Now, the last thing I need to look at before I go says, I have delivered on almost all my promises. And this is Dr. Bawumia telling traders. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has stated that he has delivered on almost all his promises, hence the need to give him the nod to lead the country in the upcoming December 2024 elections. Now, the 2024 presidential candidate for the ruling New Patriotic Party outlined about 30 initiatives he has promised and fulfilled during his tenure as vice president in his last 7 years. Speaking at an engagement with the Traders Association and magazine leaders at Sunyani in the Bono Ahafo region on Wednesday, March 27, Dr. Bawumia cautioned the electorate not to make the mistake of voting the opposition National Democratic Congress into power. He stated, I have never been president. I am just a vice president, but I have really worked. My opponent has been president before, but I have really delivered on my promises. When I said we will roll out Ghana card, we delivered. When I said children will be issued a Ghana card at birth, it has come to pass. When I promised a digital address system, it was fulfilled. When I said we will introduce a paperless port, it came to pass. When I said Zipline would deliver medicines with drones in Ghana, it was fulfilled. I promised to remove ghost names from government payroll. We executed it. I leave it here. My brother, my sister, Bawumia said ghost names have been removed from the payroll. Is it true? I leave that to you. Is it true? There are no more ghost names in the Ghanaian payroll register? I'm asking you. Now, those of you, he says Zipline has been bringing you medicines. Can you own up? Zipline has been delivering medicines using what technology? Internet or what? I'm just asking. So when you see Zipline flying around, it's bringing you medicine. Please, please, and please again, the people of Ghana are crying that there's no electricity. They are crying that your Zipline needs electricity to fly. It needs to be charged using electricity.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.